Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Anika Fassett and I'm here with Nate Shreffler, head football coach at Hillsdale College. Nate, thanks for sitting down with me today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to ask you a couple questions about your season, getting excited that it's only a couple weeks away.
Yep.
So heading into year 2 as head coach, is there anything you learned last year that you want to take into this year?
Yeah, I think the most important thing for me last year was just kind of understanding that I could coach the whole team like I've been coaching my position group for the last 25 years. And I think just being myself and letting my personality come out a little bit, was something that I learned that, I'm not Keith Otterbein, I'm Nate Shreffler, and, I got to do it my way. And, I figured that part of it out, I think.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Coming off a strong finish at the end of last season, are there any key things that you'd like to bring into this season to be successful?
Yeah, I mean, we got to get started. That's starting out that first month of the season, getting out of the gates is really important. And I think what we did kind of the second half of the season with changing up practice a little bit in terms of the competitive parts of practice, we added in some segments, and I do think that did help, with the way we finished. So we're going to start out that way this year, and, the guys will get after it in practice. And, when September 6th rolls around, we're definitely going to be ready to go.
Great. Who are some of those key players that you're looking to contribute this year?
Yeah, on the offensive side of things, Shea Ruddy obviously is, pretty dynamic player, and he'll be really heavily involved with the special teams part of it as well. Colin McKernan returning as kind of that incumbent starter, and he had a really good spring too, so I would expect him to kind of build off of what he did last year, especially with his leadership ability and kind of taking over the huddle. So, I would expect those two guys to show up quite a bit. Andrew Knesny is another guy that's going to be a big target and playing tight end for us, and is coming off a pretty solid redshirt freshman year, and I would expect some really big things from him, both in blocking and in the receiving end of things. And then we do have a really experienced wide receiver core. I mean, that group, we're going to hit the ground running with those guys. They know what they're supposed to be doing, and pretty seasoned veteran group with the wide receivers. And, the tailback group, we got Kyle Riffle is going to be taking over kind of as the primary guy, but we also got Zach Tetler, and Steven Peterson came on a little bit this spring as well. So excited about the offensive side of the ball. We got to replace some guys up front. That's going to be the challenge, but in my experience, when you're replacing guys with older guys, it's a pretty smooth transition. So I don't expect us to really let up too much on the line of scrimmage either. So I'm excited about that group of guys I get to coach again. On the defensive side of things, Hunter Sperling and Drake Badger had great seasons last year. I would expect those guys to be some serious problems for some opposing offenses. Jacob Vance, outstanding linebacker, had a great sophomore year, and I would expect him to be a monster for us as well. And then kind of like the receiving core, our secondaries, ton of experience, a lot of veteran guys, Ryan Nixa, Gavin Chenevey, and Jack Tratchett, those guys, good football players. And I'm excited to see what that defense is going to do for us.
Good. Coming out of the spring, are there any maybe non-starters this past season that you're hoping to make a big impact this year?
Yeah, and I'd go back probably to the offensive line. There's some guys there that have started games over the years, but we had to move some guys around to kind of spread out the experience. I would expect Jesse Mendoza to have a really good year for us. We moved him back into center after playing the left tackle position for us the last 5 weeks. Ryan Strasser is going to move into guard, so those are new positions for those guys, but I would expect those guys to have outstanding seasons for us as well. On the defensive side of things, most of those guys have been in the rotation and playing quite a bit. Caden Evans, Carson Ingram, those guys are solid linebackers for us, and I would expect them to make an impact as well on that side.
Great. Your season opener versus McKendree, you haven't played them in a while, so is there anything you're specifically looking forward to with this matchup?
I'm excited about it. We're changing things up a little bit from what we've been doing for an opener the last few years. It's a big trip. We're going down to just outside of St. Louis. And watching them on tape from this past season, it's going to be a pretty stiff opponent. So I'm excited to get down there and play our best football.
Hillsdale football opens at home on September 13th against Michigan Tech, so come out and support your Chargers this season.